Loki, the Norse trickster, and his role in mythology. Norse mythology is a rich and layered belief system filled with gods, giants, and other beings that represent the forces of nature, order, and chaos. One of the most complex and multifaceted figures in this mythology is Loki, the trickster god who embodies both creative and destructive forces. Unlike most gods, whose roles are clearly defined, Loki is both a helper and an enemy, a destroyer and a savior, a villain and a victim. He doesn't just participate in events, but radically changes them. Loki is known for his cunning tricks, his ability to shapeshift, and his actions that constantly break the rules and lead to unexpected outcomes. Thanks to Loki, great artifacts like Thor's hammer are created. But he is also the one who sets the world on the path to destruction during Ragnarok. In this report, we will explore Loki's role in Norse mythology, his origins, family, and his significance in modern culture. Loki's origins. Unlike most of the gods of Asgard, Loki has an unusual origin. He comes from the race of giants, Jotuns, who are often portrayed as the god's enemies in Norse mythology. Loki is the son of the giant Farbati, whose name can be translated as cruel striker or strong blow, associated with the forces of nature like storms or lightning. Loki's mother is Laufey, also known as Nal, who, according to some sources, may be a goddess or also of giant descent. Loki also has brothers, Bylist and Helblindi, though little is known about them. Loki's giant heritage makes him a dual character. On one hand, he is connected to the world of the gods, but on the other, his roots lie in the realm of giants, making him a link between different worlds. Loki often helps the Aesir gods in difficult situations, but his actions also frequently lead to disastrous outcomes. Loki's role in Norse mythology. Loki is known as a trickster, a figure who disrupts established rules and laws. Tricksters usually deceive and manipulate but play a crucial role in changing the world's structure. Loki is a prime example of such a character. He is both a creator and a destroyer. His personality is full of contradictions, making him so interesting and unique. Loki's tricks often cause both great events and problems for the gods. Here are some key examples of his deceptions. Creation of Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. Once, Loki cut off the golden hair of the goddess Sif, Thor's wife, which enraged the mighty god. To make amends, Loki turned to the dwarves, master blacksmiths, to create new hair for Sif. During this, they also forged several important artifacts, including Thor's hammer, which became the most important weapon of Asgard. Loki's shapeshifting. Loki is known for his ability to change form. One of the most famous cases is when he transformed into a mare to help distract a giant builder who threatened to destroy Asgard. As a result of this transformation, Loki gave birth to Sleipnir, an 8-legged horse who later became Odin's steed. These and other tricks show Loki as a character who doesn't shy away from breaking the rules to achieve his goals, even if it means betrayal or destruction. Loki's family. Loki's family makes his story even more intriguing. Loki is married to the goddess Sigyn, who is known for her loyalty. Despite all of Loki's tricks and betrayals, Sigyn stays by his side, even in his darkest moments. However, Loki's children play a much more significant role in the mythology. Each of them represents danger and destruction. Fenrir, the giant wolf, who is foretold to kill Odin during Ragnarok. The gods tried to contain him by chaining him up, but they knew he would eventually break free. Jormungandr, the giant serpent that encircles the world, whose death will signal the beginning of Ragnarok. Jormungandr is also Thor's enemy, and their final battle will lead to both of their deaths. Hel, the goddess of the underworld, where the souls of the dead who did not die in battle reside. Her appearance and power highlight her connection to the realm of the dead. These children of Loki play key roles in the myths, especially in the prophecies of Ragnarok, and their actions shape the fate of the gods and the world. Loki and Ragnarok. Ragnarok is the end of the world in Norse mythology, a great battle where the gods will perish and the world will be destroyed and reborn. Loki plays a central role in these events. The prophecy states that Loki will lead to Ragnarok by betraying the gods and joining forces with the giants. Before Ragnarok, Loki is punished by the gods for his deceptions. In one myth, it is said that after causing trouble, Loki fled, but was eventually captured. He was tied to rocks in a cave, with a serpent placed above his face, dripping venom on him. Loki's wife, Sigyn, holds a bowl to catch the venom, but every time she leaves to empty it, the venom drips on Loki, causing him great pain. His writhing in pain is said to cause earthquakes. When Ragnarok begins, Loki escapes his bonds and leads an army of giants and monsters against Asgard. He fights the god Heimdall, and both are killed in the battle. Loki's symbolism in culture. Loki represents ambiguity and change. In myths, his actions are rarely straightforward. He can help the gods just as easily as harm them. Loki embodies the idea that the world is not divided into absolute good and evil, and life is full of gray areas where trickery and deceit can lead to both creation and destruction. In modern culture, Loki remains a relevant figure. In films and books, he is often portrayed as a charming anti-hero, struggling with internal conflicts, which makes him one of the most popular characters in Norse mythology. Sources of knowledge about Loki. To understand Loki, we need to look at the key sources of Norse mythology. The Poetic Edda, also known as the Elder Edda, and the Prose Edda, written in the 13th century by Icelandic historian and poet Snorri Sturluson. These texts gathered and preserved the oral traditions and myths of the ancient northern peoples, and it's here that we find the main references to Loki. The Poetic Edda is a collection of poetic songs, many of which tell the stories of the gods, including Loki, and events leading up to Ragnarok. In these texts, Loki is depicted as a master of deception and transformation who, despite his giant Jotun origins, has a place among the gods of Asgard. However, his unpredictable nature and tendency toward deceit make him a morally ambiguous figure. In the Prose Edda, Loki plays an equally important role, not only as a trickster, but also as the key antagonist who will lead to the world's destruction during Ragnarok. Snorri Sturluson provides a more structured view of the myths, and his storytelling makes Loki a central figure in the prophecy of the world's end. Additional information about Loki can be found in archaeological discoveries, runestones, and artifacts found in Scandinavia that depict divine characters and scenes from the myths. However, most of our knowledge about Loki comes from the Edda texts. Conclusion: Loki is a symbol of contradictions that make Norse mythology so lively and fascinating. He embodies chaos, but also represents change. Loki is a character who constantly destroys and creates, betrays and siges. His image and symbolism continue to influence culture and art to this day. Studying Norse mythology through the lens of Loki helps us understand not only ancient beliefs, but also how these myths continue to live on in modern times.